What's going on, everybody? Grave Visitations back here again. And today I'm in a very old cemetery called Grange Cemetery here in County Wexford, and a very historic old cemetery with a lot of history here. There's a grave here of an able seaman who was washed ashore in County Wexford, who was torpedoed by a German U-boat. And there's also the burial place. It says on 9 of the Barry brothers who died in World War I. Now, I don't see any markers as such, but I will have a good look around and see can we find the final resting place of the Barry brothers. Now, as I was talking about at the start of the video of the Barry brothers, there is a memorial here just at the entrance of the cemetery here as you come in the gate for the Barry brothers. And it says the Great War 1914 to 1918 in memory of Barry brothers of Nemstown. Private John Barry, Royal Dublin Fusiliers, killed in the Balkans the 7th of December 1915, aged 27. And then you have his other brother, Private Michael Barry, Welsh Regiment, killed in action in France the 23rd of July 1918, aged 28 years old. Private William Barry, Royal Irish Regiment, wounded in France the 23rd of March 1918. He died on the 19th of July 1927, aged 31. Buried in this cemetery, lest we forget. So, I believe I found an article online, and I believe that Private William Barry, it says, was wounded in France in 1918 and he died in 1927. So he survived for another 9 years. By going by the dates on the plaque there, he survived for a further 9 years. And William Barry was bedridden for a lot of those years of his life. He was disabled and wounded in the war. And there's a lot of that online that I will add into the video also. So it's a very interesting story. And, you know, I've been here before and not videoed it, but I've been here before and walked around and said I will video it someday. So that's what I'm doing today. Also, it would be very nice to find their final resting places. Now, it says they're buried in the cemetery, unless it's an unmarked grave. I'm not quite sure. But that's the story of the Barry brothers. And the Barry brothers, you know, went to war, who fought in war. One of the brothers, I believe, actually walked from Kilmore in Wexford to Wexford town, and I'd have to look that up to see how far that is, but that would be a very, very long walk indeed. And he walked from Kilmore to Wexford town to sign up to fight in the war. So very, very brave men back in the day. We have our very own heroic Barry brothers here in County Wexford also. Now, I'm looking for the grave of the sailor who was washed ashore in Wexford. And I think I've come across it here, and it's just up along the hedge at the top of the cemetery here. And this looks like the grave here, and I found it. As you can see, the anchor on it there for the sailor, and it says on it J.A. Askew, Able Seaman, S.S. Dalewood, and that was the name of the ship. And that ship was torpedoed by a German U-boat. Now I will put more information in on the video about that, but I believed he was a collier, they were called. She was transporting coal from Wales to another part of the UK when they were torpedoed by a German U-boat, and I believe all 19 people on board drowned on the 26th of February 1918, and he was 34. He was 34 years old. There's a lot of these old, like this one here, the cross is broken on it there, in bits and pieces. And this old wooden cross here has rotted and broken away also. So imagine that this is a burial place of somebody here, and there's no name, unfortunately, on any of it, and that's the base of the cross. I think that broke, but I don't see any names on this old grave, but I don't know what's in there. There's nothing really. Sad to see a grave like that. And you see the old cross there. Now there is a plate on that side of it there, but there's still no inscription on the plate. You know, and it baffles me really to think that if the Barry brothers were buried in this cemetery, now there is a lot of graves in the cemetery here that are unmarked, and it's possible that one of them could be buried in an unmarked grave, or the three of them could be buried in an unmarked grave, or, you know, are they buried out foreign, because that happens a lot too, where they died in war. But it says on that plaque they're buried in this cemetery, so I wouldn't think they would put that on it unless they were fully sure that they are buried here. See this old one here. Now it's very hard to read some of those. Unfortunately, it looks like Timothy maybe. It's the name on it. If I can see that in edit maybe better, I will put it up. And these old ones here under the tree, just there. So there is a lot of the headstones that's under all the growth there also. Just tiny crosses there. You know, you have, as I was saying earlier, the example of markers. And this is one here, that's a marker of just a stone. So back in the day, people couldn't afford to erect a headstone to their family members, so they just put a stone there as a marker with no inscriptions. Sad to think that you could walk past those and not even know they were there at times. These headstones. absolutely beautiful one with the yellow lichen or lichen you call it on it. Just there. Look at this one here. It's really nice. All this rusty old railing that goes all around it there. And inside the cross and the gate, actually, you can just see the gate there where it opens. And the gate just open out like that. And it's just full of all those weeds and overgrown inside. Now there is a headstone inside and it's kind of lying on its side, and the other one is lying the opposite way to it. I'm just going to see, can I have a look at that and read any name. 1830 is a date that's on it. Here lies the body of Mary, it looks like, Kilmore, who departed this life in 1830, aged 56 years old. And her husband Nicholas, who died in the 1830 something as well. So that's an 1800s. An 1800s old grave. And close this gate back. What a beautiful old rusty iron around that, and that cross on top. Beautiful. Now there's one next door to that also. Just in here, beside that one there I was looking at, we have this old one. And there's a little small Celtic cross in the corner there. And like the base of a monument, and the base was fallen down. Just around there, fell from there down. And it's hard to see any names on that, I won't be able to, but that little cross is beautiful, the Celtic cross. And all that lovely wrought iron again around both of those, look at that. Stunning craftsmanship there. So this is the site of, there's an old church on the graveyard site. Now I call it a graveyard here, they call it a cemetery online. But as you know, if there's a church, site of an old church on the grounds, then you would call it a graveyard because of the church. So, you know, why they call it cemetery, I don't know. Here's another cross with the initials here. Lovely memory of Alice McGrath, Tully Bards, who died the 11th of August 1931. Aged only 18 years old, it says. $18 old, lovely little cross on that. So a lot of these in the old graveyard here, they're all just crosses with no names on them really. And here's another one of those with the orange lichen or lichen on it. Nicholas Riley, who died the 14th of November 1918, aged 10 years old. Also Ellen Riley, who died the 7th of April 1919, aged only 5 years old. So I'd imagine they're brother and sister. And one died in 1918 and the other one died a year later, aged 5 years old. Very, very sad. The lovely cross there. And you can just see on top of the cross the pebbled kind of stones on it. And there's a plaque here just beside that. And it says 3 children who died in infancy of the late Nicky and Mary Clooney. Rest in peace. It's sad to see the children's graves so young. Mary Roach, it says in this, in memory of, who died in June 1970. And seems to be overgrown with weeds there and stuff, that nobody seems to be attending these graves. Or maybe there's no family around, but there's a lovely statue on it here, if I can show you, of a woman. Look at that. Little girl with a hat on. Isn't that beautiful? And this has fallen over. Here, I want to fix this up. I think it was for candles on Mary's grave, and the little girl statue on it is beautiful. Some of these, this graveyard here reminds me of one of those old graveyards you'd find out in America also. You know, that burnt look in the grass and all those old graves. And there's a headstone, unfortunately, that has broken away. April the 3rd is all I can see on that. A headstone that broke. And this one here is, here lies the body of Nicholas Whitty, I think it says there, who departed this life September the 27th, 1781, that looks like there. The Whitty family. There's a lovely design on that. Look at that heart at the very top of it. Now this one here could also be a child's grave also. You see the lovely little railing that goes around with the crosses. Beautiful. And a heart in the middle of it. Now there's a lovely monument there, and I don't know if I can get in to read it. It's a very old monument. Now there is a gate there, and you can just see all the railing that goes around that. It's a very big gravesite. And there's other slab stone and headstones in there also. So I'll just see, can I maybe get entrance in to try and read, because there's a lovely headstone in there that I'm trying to read, and it's worn away there, unfortunately. A lot of it has worn away. James Kelly, who departed this life 1884, age 60. And all the oranges come on that part. It's a really nice monument, very large. Look at that. Now one of the headstones here is really nice. And you can just see the angel symbol on it there, the wings and the face. And all the writing has faded off it. Now that could be one of Cullen's headstones. Stone man who carves all those headstones to Cullen. Man, it could be. And the sun is on it there also, which is really nice. All that old railing around it. So I'm going to close this. Close that back up, guys. There. And that's the monument, and the railing all around is really, really nice. I think it's the largest one I've seen, or one of the largest maybe I've seen in the graveyard here. So I'm going to continue on around the old graveyard here and read some more of these old headstones. There's a lot here, I won't get to do them all today. I'll do as many as I can. Now, I haven't come across any of the Barry brothers yet, or the name Barry, but it's a beautiful grave here, but flowers on it. In loving memory of Dennis Moore, who died the 2nd of April 1949, aged only 13 years old. And it's a lovely headstone for the year, and I'm presuming that's the black there is the old base that goes around it, the original base. That headstone has been replaced because it's very new looking, from 1949. Another lovely grave here, in loving memory of Patrick Roach, also his wife Frances, and their family, in the Sacred Heart in the middle of that one. This is a beautiful Celtic cross. In remembrance of Margaret Byrne, who died the 7th of February 1898, aged 35. Also her mother Elizabeth, who died the 3rd of January 1809, it looks like, or could be 1800, aged 82, on whose soul, sweet Jesus, have mercy. So I go under this arch here with all this ivy, just in here, and up along here is the monument to the Whitty family. Now all that railing here, I'd imagine as well, is belonged to the Whitty family. The burial area, it's a massive railing with that old design on it. Look at that. Beautiful designs on it. And there must be an entrance to that. Just the other side, you can actually walk in from the other side of the old church ruin there. You can come in along there, and there's graves on the grave slabs on the ground. There's an old headstone just here then, erected by Corish, it looks like the name, his surname is Mary. And the date on that is 1814. You can just see it there, one of the dates on it, age 60, 1814. So just hidden in here we have the Whitty monument, and they say that this monument was erected and it goes back as far as the 1600s. Now there is some information online a little bit about it, and I'll put that in on the video about the Whitty monument. And you can just see the design on it. I'm sure that's the crest up there of the Whitty family. You can see like a helmet on it there. Coat of arms, and there's a cross, and lovely design around it there. Now there is writing down here. Now that writing looks like to me it could be either Latin or something like that. I'm trying to see if I can find a date. Now just there, if you look there, you can actually see 1670, 1670. Right there, 1670. So when I mentioned it was 1600s, you could just see the date on it there now, how far back it goes. I'm just going to look and see is there any other dates or years on it there maybe. But there's definitely that one there of 1626 maybe. And just in here in the corner then, I'm sure that's one of the Whitty family that's buried in there. That old iron railing around it, and you can just see the edge of the grave there inside, and it's covered in all those leaves and ivy and everything, so you'd never read it. But anyway guys, that's the Whitty monument, and as I said, I will put more information in the video. If I can find anything else, I'll put it in. And just at the very top of it there, actually, you can see birds have made a little nest for themselves on top of the monument there. Look at that. A little nest right underneath all that shelter there. A bird's nest. So I'm going to bring you back around where we were, because right over there, where I was talking about earlier, is you know something, I've come across a lot of graveyards and cemeteries and stuff like that, but you never really hear me mentioning on my videos about feeling uneasy or uncomfortable in an old graveyard. But for some strange reason in this graveyard, I don't know what it is, but sometimes you feel like there's something or somebody around you, or the corner of your eye, there's somebody walking or something. And I get that a lot here in this graveyard. Always happens in this graveyard. But look at this headstone here, isn't that beautiful? A cross design on that, look at that. Fabulous work on that old cross and headstone. So as I was saying, you know, there's a lot of old graves in here. That one there, that wall just there, that bar supporting all that wall, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now I mightn't be able to get in here, and I was hoping to get in and read one of those. And you can see all that wall there now, that's more iron railing there, and it's completely just overgrown. Look at that. All that is overgrown. And you see all the headstones and the entrance to the gates that go into it there. So that's the other side of that wall I was showing you with all the bar on it. It's supporting all that wall. Imagine that wall could collapse. Right guys, so I've gotten in as far as here. And I'll just show you all those. I've kind of broken down all that to make a pathway in this old grave here to come in and show you this very, very interesting grave here. And I had to get in to read it to show you. So it says here, to the memory of Florence Sullivan, who departed this life on the 6th of October 1860, and her age is there somewhere, age 70 something, 9 maybe years old on it. So we have Florence Sullivan, who departed this life in 1860 in her 70s. And then just here it says also of her brother William Empson, Empson, and it says who died at the same place on her funeral in October, age 70 years of age. October the 10th it says. And I can't see with the ivy there, but you can just see there how interesting that is. Florence Sullivan, who died in 1860, and her brother William, who died at the same place on the day of her funeral in October. So you can see that she died in October. And William died in October also. So he died the same day as his sister's funeral. Now I've never come across that before. What a find, and very unusual, but all that grave, I broke down all that there, and all that high overgrowth there. I made a pathway, as you can see, in along to the headstone, because I had to read that. And that's just amazing. I've never seen that before, that a brother died the same day as his sister's funeral. Died at the same place at her funeral. So whether he died at the burial or the church part or whatever, I don't know. But he did die the same day as his sister's funeral, in the same place. Wow. There's one of those old railings again, going all around. Some of the graves here have fallen over the headstones. A lot of them broken and fallen over and stuff. Lovely, beautiful one here. This iron railing, look at that. And just at the top of the grave there we can see like a little statue in it. Inside, statue of Our Lady or Jesus maybe. Beautiful grave, and can't see any writing on it, they've faded away unfortunately. So it's just a quick walk around to show you this amazing old historical graveyard here in Grange, County Wexford, and the story of the Barry brothers. And unfortunately I can't find their final resting place, and I don't know if they even have a marker here at all. And that's the ruin of the old church. You can just see it there, it's beautiful. And all the old graves just here behind the window of it. Here lies the body of Richard Rossiter, who departed this life in 1792, aged 74 years old. All those really old headstones. And that old window of the church. You can imagine what it looked like in the day, with the glass in it and stuff. The Sinnott family. Now just over here is, now I'm not sure what name you would call it, I'd have to look it up and I'm sure one of you would know. But that is the old style wooden that thing there that looks like a ladder, and that's the thing that actually carries, in the old days, back in the day, they used to carry a coffin on that in the churchyard here on the day of a burial. And that's the old way of carrying the coffin, all that there underneath that. Isn't that amazing? The old way of carrying the coffins back in the day. It's amazing to see that. I've never seen one before. The coffin would just go right across on that, and then you'd have your four men, which would be carrying, one each side. Now there is something written on it here. On the other side of this plaque it says Grange, B-I-E-R, made by Jim Moore, Rackerstown in 1939 it says. So that was made by a Jim Moore and from Rackerstown in 1939. So it's called a Grange, B-I-E-R, a buyer. I'm presuming it's called that carries the coffins. Very interesting. And I looked that up actually as well. I like to look up stuff and add on to it, to see what you can find. Now that's the other entrance where I was earlier. And the Whitty monument is in there on the right. So that's what it looks like right there. All that railing all around it. Now I did spot another military grave here, so we'll have a read of that also and see. It's part of the Roach family here, in memory of James and Anthony Roach, who died young. And then you have this military headstone here on the same gravesite. L. Roach, leading seaman, RNR, SS Garmile, who died the 10th of July 1917, aged 31 years old. So another able seaman buried there from the Roach family. I'll just show you this one here before I wrap it up, guys. You can see the clouds are not looking that well today. And this one here has 3 little crosses at the bottom. And the name on it then. Who died in 1908. It looks like age 73. Now it's hard to see what name that would be there. Bridget maybe, who died in 1900, age 73, and her husband Francis Cousins is the surname. Francis Cousins. Also, it's a beautiful cross. Look at that old stone cross. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there and call it a day. Thank you for coming along on this walk with me today around Grange Old Cemetery or Graveyard in County Wexford. This would have been a beautiful stone in its day. Look at that. You can see the design on it there. Wow. Look at that. I'm just going to see, can I push that back? Because I want to show you what's under it. Look at that. Carving of Jesus on that headstone. Really nice. Look at that. For workmanship. Stone cutter. Look at that. Jesus on the front. Isn't that gorgeous? That headstone. I'm going to put it back here where it was. And it has broken off the base of it there, unfortunately. And it was a beautiful headstone, and I would love to see that repaired and put back together in some form to see what it looks like. Really, really nice. So guys, that's the end of the walk here at Grange Old Cemetery in Wexford, and I hope you enjoyed the walk. We didn't get to find the graves, unfortunately, of the Barry brothers. I'd imagine they're in unmarked graves for some reason. Why they are, I don't know. I'll look into it more online and find out a few details if I can. But if you like the video, guys, hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up and the notification bell and subscribe to the channel and do all that stuff that you do on YouTube. And thanks very much for watching. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care, guys.